Commissioners, regular meeting agenda. It's Tuesday, April 29th, 11:09 a.m. Golden Court Community Room. The first item on the agenda is adoption of changes, topics not reasonably anticipated. I have nothing. Does anyone else have anything?
So we do just have the financials that were dropped off by.
Oh, wonderful.
They're not a votable item, but if they're.
Right.
So if you want to add them back onto the agenda.
I do.
Actually, there is a
You informed me
votable,
they might
Pamela.
be able
Oh, there
to-
is a votable?
Yeah, the quarterlies are attached. Gary had the quarterlies, that's why it took so long.
Oh,
I thought
okay.
we had the quarterlies.
No.
Okay, my mistake. So-
Okay. So under financials, Roman numeral 3, what do you want to do first? The quarterlies or the other part?
The other part first.
Okay, so that, we've already got the treasurer's report is number 2.
So 3, quarterlies.
So the quarterlies are small Roman numeral 3.
Rich.
And those just came in. You warned me that they,
They were,
wait a minute, something's wrong. Something's wrong.
how did they come apart?
Yeah, they came apart.
Do you have yours, Pam?
Yeah, okay, we can look at hers.
Okay, so this goes on
Pam,
that.
just to make sure I have it all.
So we've got the treasurer's report, the monthly income and expense, the breakdown. Then we've got the quarterly operating statement is the 4th page in, with the quarterly operating statement breakdown, 5th page in, 6th page in, and the tenant accounts receivable, 7th page in. Okay, so the tenant's account receivable is already small Roman numeral 2 under property management, so.
Pamela, sorry.
Does anyone have anything else? Oh, we have to vote that to go on. Can I get a motion to add the quarterlies to the executive director report under financials is small Roman numeral 3? Can I get a motion?
Second.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Now I need a discussion. Any discussion? No? Vote? Rich is a yes, I'm a yes. Crystal's a yes, and
Yes.
Susie yes. So, any other topics not reasonably anticipated? All right. Hearing nothing, move on to approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion for the minutes of March the 11th? The motion statement is on the first page in your binder. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes, March 11th, 2025.
Seconded by Crystal. Discussion?
Nothing.
I have nothing, so no one has any discussion, so I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
Rich?
Yes.
Yes, I'm yes.
Yes.
Crystal, yes, and Sue's yes. Okay, can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes of April 1st?
Yes.
Was that in?
Yes, motion to approve.
Okay, so Crystal moves to approve the April 1st, 2025 minutes, seconded by Rich. Any discussion?
No.
No? No discussion, hearing no discussion. Call for the vote. Rich?
Yes.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Crystal, yes. And
Yes.
Susie, yes. Motion carries. Now, we're down to the Executive Director Report Financials. So we have, now our quarterly's votable, is that what we said?
The quarterlies are.
Okay.
The treasurer's report is not.
Right. So we have 2 votable items, small Roman numeral 1, warrant reports, and the quarterlies. The treasurer report, we will only discuss if there's questions. Everyone's had an opportunity to see them. These were, this board packet was emailed on, I believe it was Wednesday. It was nice and early. So would you like to give the warrant report? Rich?
I'll make the motion. We accept the warrant report dated March 17, 2025, and April, just March. And April 30th, 2025, for $2,841.70.
Okay, so Rich moves and Crystal seconds. Discussion?
No.
I have no discussion, so hearing no discussion, call for the vote.
Yes.
I'm a yes, Crystal's yes, Sue's yes, so it's 4-0. Does anyone have any questions on the treasurer report? It's not a votable item. Hearing no questions, move on to the quarterly, small Roman numeral 3. Pamela.
Okay, so Gary prepared the quarterly report. Go to page. And we are doing well. This is our, the end of our second quarter.
Goodness gracious, could this be any smaller?
I know, right? But this is just a repeat of what is on your monthly expenses under the treasurer's report. As you can see, we're underspent $56,720. So it's the second quarter of the year, and we're still in really great shape.
And that's what we have left to utilize, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You said 56, I can't.
56,720.
For this quarter,
Yeah.
we still have that much
Yeah.
Yeah.
left for this quarter.
Yeah. We're in good shape. So you just need to approve those if you will, and we'll submit those to UHLC.
So does anyone else have any further discussion? Now, the vote, we need to move to,
Oh, wait, it's not on there.
I know, it's not on here because
Yeah.
we didn't know we were going to get to do it.
Yeah.
So can I get a motion to approve the quarterly report dated
Quarter ending 3/31.
quarter ending 3/31/2025? Can I get a motion?
I motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Crystal moves, Rich seconds. Any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Rich?
Yes.
Risa, yes. Crystal, yes. And
Yes.
Sue is yes, 4-0.
Thank you.
Now, we'll move down to property management unit vacancy report.
Did we do the warrant?
No,
Yeah,
we did when?
That was the first thing we
did.
did.
The warrant report, yes. we
Yeah,
did.
that was the first
Nobody
thing we
had any
did.
questions?
Nobody had any questions? Yeah, so unit vacancy report.
Management property.
It is not a votable item. Does anyone have any questions about the unit vacancy report? It is the first thing under property management.
So it's still the same amount of apartments in Berkeley, right?
Yep,
Okay.
so we have Golden Court, one is leasing up on May 1st,
Okay.
and the other one is we're actively working on it and getting a new tenant in place. And the other two are the ADA units that are under construction right now.
Far away.
No, actually in,
Right. So
And
there's
Golden
two
Court.
that's ADA, and then there's one that's moving in May 1st, and then you have another one that maybe.
and that's Golden Court. And then Berkway, we have the two that
That's
should
still-
be coming, one of them's coming up.
Oh, almost
And-
done.
No, coming up for bid.
Oh, okay. Oh, it still hasn't been bid.
I believe that's actually the bid that we have.
Yeah, it's the bid we have, so we'll be discussing that.
You're gonna be hopefully awarding that bid today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
finally it started.
Are there any other questions about the unit vacancy report? No. Moving on, hearing nothing, we move on to the tenants account receivable report, and that's the, I believe, last page of the packet that Pam just gave you. Does anyone have any questions? This is a non-votable item.
We are not gonna go over the work orders or anything? That's what we...
We're not to it yet, so let's go back to the tenant account receivable report. It's the last page of the packet that Pam handed. Okay.
I was following property management, I thought it was in order.
So last
It
page,
is in order.
last page of the packet, this one here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If it's in order.
Last page of the packet is the tenant's account receivable report, and that's the packet that the packet that Pam gave you.
Right, what I'm trying to explain, is you said it is going in order. I meant, is it going in order according to this?
It's going
Or
before
according to that, okay.
to the agenda. Yeah.
So it's not in order all right.
Yeah, we just had to add these to,
No, I know we had to add them, but I thought that after we spoke on it, it would then be in order in here.
well, no, because we had additional documentation handed to us.
Yeah.
All right, so does anyone have any question on the tenant's account receivable? It is a non-votable item. I have nothing, Rich has nothing, Crystal has nothing?
Nothing.
Sue? Nothing, okay, let's move along
That's really good.
to the work order report. And that is under property management. Oh, I'm sorry. It's under facilities. So the tab is facilities. So the work orders, does anyone have any questions? That is also a non-votable item. Rich, do you have anything? I have nothing. Crystal?
Nothing.
Sue, nothing? Then let's move along. Now we're to the capital report. This is a votable item. The information about it is immediately after the work order report in your binder. Pamela, would you like to go through this with us?
So we just, the memo is not a votable item, but
Right.
it is just an update.
Right.
Okay, so it's an update of capital. If anybody has any questions on that? And then the next one, the Housing Authority is presenting is, so fish number 117086, the ARPA funded unit vacancy turnover, Parkway Apartments, 705-1. And that is to award a bid for renovations, refurbishment of one of the units over at Parkway. And the lowest bidder is Renaissance Builders at $119,058. The architect was in charge of doing a background check, a reference check, and came back with that they are a good builder and that they've used them before. I do just want to clarify because it's a common question. So all of the builders, all of the bids are bidding on the same exact scope and work. So it's not like the low bidder can come in and bring in, like when we did the windows, there was a specific window that we were going to use or a specific grade of window. They don't get to put in
Modify
a cheap,
that.
right?
Yeah, they have to use the materials we are telling them that they need to use.
Yes,
They're just doing the work.
Yeah, and so there's a big spec of work that the architect put together that they bid on. So that is the low bidder. We're hoping that you'll award that contract and we can get that project started. Finally.
Okay, so can I get a motion, please? And it's on your board motion sheet.
Right. I'll make the motion to award the contract to Renaissance Builders for the amount $119,058.
And that's for the ARPA Berkway Unit Vacancy Project number 11706.
Correct.
Can I get a second? Crystal seconds. Call for discussion. Any further discussion?
According to this memo, it says that the front and rear including the community door, was submitted for 75,000. Now it's been modified to 150,000.
But we're on, right now, we are
And I
on,
know we were on, but
okay,
this is
so,
after.
yeah, can we
This is
talk?
before that.
Okay, the motion on the floor is to approve the E EOHLC number 117086. We have to stick to that right now. That's what's under discussion.
And
But
I'll
if
say-
you have questions about anything else on this memo, then let's get to that after we get through this,
Sure,
okay?
thank you.
So any further discussion on 117086?
I'm just curious to know, will this include the storm doors too, or just the actual wooden door itself?
Okay, so we are
Oh,
on
right, we have to-
117086.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
We
saying.
do have to finish that, then we can go back to that memo, okay? Okay, does anyone have any questions about the 117086? And that's right after that memo the two of you keep talking, have talked about. So we need to, the motion is to discuss that and then vote on awarding that contract to Renaissance Builders. Okay.
Yes.
Anybody have any further discussion? Okay, I'll call for the vote. Rich?
Yes.
I'm yes. Crystal?
Yes.
Sue's yes. Okay, it's 4-0. That is approved.
Now I have my question. So it says here that it was originally 75,000 and it was modified to 150 pending approval at town meeting. And now it says the designers provided an estimate of 343,000 for rear doors. Why is it so expensive for rear? Is that for every building or?
So we're really hoping, the designer's a wonderful person, it's a good firm, but they're from the eastern part of the state, but they're estimating $8,000 a door, which is double for what we
This is
actually
what I
think.
mean.
Yeah, so we're really not thinking that it's gonna come in that high.
Oh, okay.
So we initially did apply for a CPA grant with the town for $75,000, and then as it went up, we applied for additional money. That'll come to town meeting
May
First.
May the 1st.
May 1st.
Tomorrow, Thursday.
Okay, great. So hopefully that'll help. And then we did put the alternative of the front doors, which will include storms too, as will the back doors. We're hoping that the bids will come in lower and that they'll be able, so when the contractor puts in the bid, they can say, I can do the front doors or the rear doors for
This amount.
$150,000, and then I'll throw in the front doors for an additional $100,000, and that it will fit within the budget that we have.
So which doors?
It's for the tenants units.
Oh,
So
also
it's-
the tennis units?
It's all
Oh,
tenant
okay,
units.
that's
yeah.
right, because I
Yeah.
thought it was. like-
Yeah, the only door we added for the community room is that rear door because it's just a solid window.
Yes.
Or, sorry, a solid
Solid
panel
door,
door, and we
yeah.
wanted to put in a glass door. so
That's,
people could-
yeah, and that's the thing, when I come in there, it's kind of uncomfortable because you can't see who's on the other side.
Right.
And you don't want to bump into someone.
Right.
So that would be a good idea to have something where you can see through.
Yeah,
And even at night or whatever, you can be able to see all
Right.
the way through and know that no one's in the office.
Right.
So it's a safety reason as well.
yeah.
So that's what we're waiting on for May 1st. Hopefully they'll bid what you requested, a little bit up.
They will approve, the
I
town
mean,
will
approve,
approve.
excuse me,
Yeah.
approve the bid, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Your
for
request.
community preservation, yeah.
Yeah, the CPA.
So the other thing that was made clear during the CPA meeting is that Pamela told the CPA committee that because it's a Boston architect doing the design, these were Boston prices
Right,
and
that's
the
what she said.
estimates, yeah.
She said because
So
they're from the eastern coast, that's why
Mhm.
the price is higher,
Mhm.
and that's why she's hoping that they.
We are hoping,
Yeah, we had
Yes.
another location that, or I know of another location that had some, fiberglass insulated doors installed for $4,000, painted and everything, which is still a huge amount of money for a
Wait,
door, but
one door?
installed for one door. Yeah, well, you have the prevailing wage and
And
then
you
the
know
cost of
what?
goods and,
With the tariffs, this is going to get even more expensive.
well, we're supposed to buy American as well, so.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So we are set to buy American, so we don't really have to worry about the tariffs.
Right.
Okay. That's the other thing.
But even if we buy American, anything that comes from another country,
Right,
like
there could
China,
be, Right, there could be
You're still
parts
gonna
on
have a
there.
tower.
Yeah, that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
we still have to worry about, even if we,
Sure.
because I know if someone needs to fix their car or whatever, they may buy from an American company, but they're getting their stuff overseas, which the tariffs are going into effect.
Yeah, that
So I'm
airbag.
hoping- Yeah, exactly, I'm hoping it doesn't affect us too much, where we can just
Yeah.
utilize what we're gonna be given.
And wood has gone up so much.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Anybody else? No. Okay. Okay, so did we vote that? We voted that, yeah?
We did.
Okay. So we're moving along to board correspondence. Oh, no, we,
Yep.
okay, board correspondence is to allow the executive director to be signator on all contracts for financial assistance, which are a specific form of contracts through the state. So,
Who usually signs it?
okay, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I need a
Oh, I
motion
didn't know it was before. Okay, go ahead.
to allow the executive director to be a signator. Can somebody say this motion,
Yeah, I'll do
please?
it.
Okay.
That's the front page. But I'm allowing before I know what it is.
Yes, we
No,
have.
you're not, you're just making a motion, so.
Motion and then second and then discussion.
Yeah,
Okay, I make a motion to allow the executive director to be signature on all contracts for financial assistance.
can I get a second?
Second.
Rich seconds, Crystal first. Okay, now I'll call for discussion.
Okay, so who normally signs off on these? Why all of a sudden do we need to have a second signature? Or you as the,
So it's always been, in the past, it was either the executive director or the chairperson of the board. And then now they've just changed the auditing guidelines, and they've added that the CFA has to be signed within a certain period of time. Otherwise, you get a penalty on your audit. So the suggestion from EOHLC is to allow the executive director to sign it. You still get to approve it. And the CFA is, you're just saying, this, yes, we'll accept this money that you're giving us. That's what this, the CFA is. Each year, every time we get, anytime I apply for a grant for a ramp, or we do our 5-year plan and we get our annual allotment for capital funding, there's a CFA for our budget. They'll send us a CFA. So it's just financial things.
and usually Risa signs it.
Or, yeah, right.
So now you're replacing Risa, basically.
On the,
On the
or, yeah,
financial
any
signature.
chairperson, yeah.
Pamela's not. It's the state that's recommending.
But what you're right, I'm right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question. When the state recommended that the executive directors do it, could we see the correspondence
Yeah, I apologize that it's not
that,
here. It should be.
so to say why they feel the executive director should be doing it now versus the
Yeah.
chairperson? Or maybe have two signatures, the chair and the.
Well, it's a standard form, so there's not a room, there's not place for two, so it could be either or. It's not an extended period of time, or the audit is you have 8 weeks to get it back. But the problem is if it falls weird in between when you're having a board meeting, you don't have the opportunity to approve it. And that's the other thing too, I can't sign until you approve.
Right.
So it still comes to the board approves it, and then Reese has filled them out, Richie has filled them out. The form says the board met on this day, they approved this CFA, and then I would be able to sign. I
So
can't
you'll be
sign.
able to see the amount and everything?
Oh, absolutely, and you have to approve it, I can't
Right.
sign something that's not
So you
approved.
So you can't do anything until we review it?
Exactly.
And you said you have 8 weeks to do it. What time of year does this?
It can come out, for us, we're, October 1st is the start of our fiscal year. So you get one shortly thereafter for our capital. And then anytime that so say this, the door project, we run over and we request to move some money, or we request for additional money. And they would then send you a CFA, and you have to approve it and sign it and get it back.
We have to
So-
vote to get money.
So initially, you said October?
Yes.
And then anything that's needed later, we have to request, and then the CFA sends us the numbers.
Yes.
Because the fiscal year starts October, so you're looking 8 weeks past the October beginning
Well,
of your year.
Well,
Of your housing authority fiscal year, which starts in October.
Right, but nothing is timely. If you're, yeah, I mean, we get things at all different
Yeah,
times.
it
Right,
starts
that's what I mean.
October 1st.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
can come at any time, that needs to be signed off. And then if we need something later, we have to get another sign off.
So what I would like is, as a board member, is to see some sort of communication from EOHLC saying that they think that it's more important for a
I think
executive director to.
She said she was.
Right.
If you wanted to
Do this.
email it to us instead of worrying about, handling, you know, you can just.
Right, right. It's not imperative that we vote on it today. If you feel more comfortable getting the letter first, that's fine. We could just put it on next month, and then I'll have the letter for you. It is just a suggestion that they had, so while it was fresh, we're doing all three. But we can absolutely table that till next month, and I'll get you that correspondence. I do apologize, it wasn't in
Thank you.
this time. Not a problem.
Okay, so I need question is, we've got our motion 1 and 2. Do you want to do an amended motion to
Yes.
table it?
Yeah, because if
No, I
Pamela's
understand.
recommending that she'll do it and we can table it, why not, so that she can.
Exactly. So I need a motion to amend your motion to table?
And the motion.
Yeah, okay, can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, so I'll think there's no more discussion, is that correct? Okay, then let's call for the vote. Rich?
Yes.
Okay, I vote to table, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and Sue. Okay, 4-0 to table on the amended motion. Okay, so now we're down to commissioners' discussion, items for future agenda. Does anyone have anything? I've not received anything by email.
Yes. So we brought up last month, maybe talking about a change of subcommittee for policy coming up in May, and also going over bylaws. If not, each time we have a meeting, taking different bylaws, or doing, sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time the bylaws were reviewed was 69 or something like that. I think we need to.
That's when they were wrote. They may have been
Yeah.
reviewed, but that's
Well, I
definitely
meant-
when they were written.
I meant by the board. Maybe
Yeah.
the executive director didn't look at them. but
You
I've been to a million board meetings, I don't remember ever.
You have a copy of the bylaws, right? Everybody has that in their bigger
Mhm. Right.
binder? Okay, yep.
And also you wanted to discuss, I think, something about having a co-chair for the Community Preservation Commission
But, okay, so all of those things,
to put on the next agenda.
all of those things we did talk about on the April 1st meeting, and,
Excuse me, Lisa. I'm the code for you.
no,
So what am I
not
for
until you
you?
voted, it hasn't.
Right,
been
what am I
voted
for you when you said the alternative?
Okay, so hold on. What I said was community preservation went to the select board and asked to have the bylaws amended to include an alternate.
Right.
So that's not been done. It has to go.
No, I mean, but you asked me and I said yes, so that's what it was for? That's what I'm
Yeah.
asking, okay.
Yeah.
Anything else that you can think of? You know, in that same department of going over, changing the people who are the subcommittee.
Well, as far as,
Policies and you being the co, if
Right.
we vote, yes.
as far as the subcommittee goes, sorry to see Rich go, but I will be taking over his, so basically it will be just Risa and I as the subcommittee. So anything that you have that you'd like to discuss,
Well, I'd like to discuss being part of the policy subcommittee because she's already
we
on board.
can't have all three people on the subcommittee.
No, he's going to be gone.
And I'm the other person.
But I know, but I'm just asking to
Okay.
replace because she's been on it. and
So,
I would like to
folks,
get the policy.
This is,
Right.
we're not discussing this right now.
You said that last month, so.
Yes, but we did, and we actually agreed upon dates to do all those things that you brought up. So they're already calendared on the agenda, and just look at the last,
On the agenda.
I think it's a
Look at-
reminder that Sue was bringing
look at
up a
the
reminder.
last paragraph or so of the minutes of April 1st, okay, that you approved today.
But it doesn't mean that it's
The
going to show up
dates.
on the agenda, though.
Well,
talking about it and actually showing up on the
You
agenda.
said
Okay,
the last
so
April
we-
1st?
Right.
The last paragraph or two of the April 1st minutes answers all your questions. It's already been agreed when they're going to come on the agenda.
Right, I think it was just a reminder.
It's just okay, so what you're saying is just a reminder? Okay.
Yes, because we talked about it.
Okay, but yes, we did, and it's on the minutes.
But what I'm
The
saying,
next meeting after the
Right.
election will be June 24th, and that is when officers and subcommittee members will be voted on. So
There we go.
So
Yeah.
June 24th we'll discuss.
and the other thing I wanted to bring up in one of our meetings coming up is what's happening with the governor position for our board members. We don't have anybody.
Well, there isn't anyone that's stepping up to do
Can
it.
we do something to find this person or get out there?
Sure,
and
as
spread the
Crystal
word, or-
said, no one has stepped up.
There are people that are interested, however, I don't know if they're going to do it or not. So it's more or less people seeing, people wanting to do it, people know about the commissioner, and they know about everything and the voting. So it's really up to people if they want to do it, you know, if you have anyone in mind.
Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, the only thing we can do is just put them on the ballot. Or however you do it, you know.
Okay, any further discussion about items for future agenda?
Nothing I can think of.
I have nothing, which, okay. So the future meetings, we're already scheduled for May 20th. That would be probably Rich's last meeting. June 24th, and I'm proposing July 29th. Do I have any comments about July 29th? That's the last Tuesday of July.
For now, it's okay. I mean, you never know what can happen between now and then.
Sue?
That's fine.
It's okay
And
with
I'm,
me.
yeah, I know, you're not gonna be here. Okay, so we are now scheduled also out for July 29th at 11 a.m. And now it's time for public comments. Does anyone have any comments? We have 2 members of the public here. Hi.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Alex.
All right,
Okay,
are we gonna go over this? The code of conduct and everything?
no, we've already done
Well, I
that.
don't see that's what I was looking at when we first got it. I don't see,
You don't see what?
I think it's all approved, it's just that you wanted it
Yeah,
back in a good form, so we.
no, there was stuff left out.
That's why I sent it to you last week and said, take a look at it. And if you, yeah, I emailed you last week.
Well,
I emailed everybody last week.
because,
So that, this is, it's not on the agenda, it's already been approved and signed. If you have any concerns about, so I made the corrections according to the votes we took on February 4th. So it should be all okay, which is why I sent it to you early last week, so that you would have time to read it and compare it to your notes that you said you would send me, but I never received them.
yeah, I didn't send it to you because it was on your computer.
So I've input the corrections from the corrections I made on February 4th that did not save. So
I don't,
what Pam handed you is the corrected, accurate, as far as I can figure, the code of conduct that we approved on February 4th. Now, I will say, after the meeting, we need to redo the signatures, and the reason is because, do you have the signature sheet? I can't find the signature sheet.
Is that a signature?
No, we signed it on February 4th, so we'll need to, after the meeting, we can re-sign it again, so. I have nothing else. Does anyone else have anything?
yeah, I do. It's not on here.
Reese, do you have a public comment?
Oh, hold on. You need to,
Go back up, sorry, I should have opened my mouth when I...
no, Maggie, just identify your first name and that you live in Golden Court. You don't have to give your exact address.
Yes, I'm Maggie, and I live in...
Golden Court, that's enough.
Right.
Yes.
Is there estimated time for the doors?
Yes, so it would typically, once they're bid,
then will start probably 30 to 60 days later, and then the project is less than 30 days.
Oh, okay.
So definitely before winter.
And I think I made mention when it was first brought up about a window in the front door.
That's part of the front door.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because you can't, I mean, if you've got people 5 feet tall trying to see into it,
Yeah.
6 feet up, you have no clue who these
Yeah,
people are.
that window on the side, I'm sorry, I should clarify too, that the window on the side of each of those, that's going to be replaced with this as well.
With a window you can see through, oh, real fun.
Yeah.
Right, please, you're welcome. Because I think since it was just for now,
Maybe 0 votable items have a green tab.
so from now on, any votable item will have a green tab.
Unless it's a mistakenly missed, but yeah. Okay, thank you, Maggie. Does anyone else have any comments? Then the meeting, it's okay with you if we adjourn?
Yeah, if you want to.
Crystal, you ready to adjourn
Yes.
too?
Yes,
So am I. Okay, bye-bye.
and we have to give